Okay, like I said, we're not going to jump right into the box plot. Let's have a way that we can test all these functions in an easy, controlled manner. So I'm going to go back to my folder where I have my charts project, and I'm going to create a new folder there. I'm just going to call it box plot math, and I'm just going to open that in VS Code. And minimize some other stuff, get it out of the way. And inside of here, I'm going to create an index.html. And I believe that you can just type HTML and use your IMIT abbreviations. And we will call this, we'll just call it math. And then I'm going to create another file called index.js. And then inside of my index.html, at the end of the body, I'm going to say script source equals index.js. Close that off. Now, if you don't have live server installed, if you go to extensions and type in live server, recommend you install that. You'll have a little install button. And what you can do is, if you're in your index.html, let's put an H3 up here. Math for the box plot. And then you can just right click and say open with live server. So we will do that. I'll bring up one of these other web pages here just so I have something brought up, and I'll go to open with live server, and it should open in whatever browser tab that you have activated. Okay, so we're going to go to inspect, and then we will take these three dots right here and we'll just put this on the bottom like so. We'll go to our console. And we'll just pull him over here. And we'll put him right here. And then we'll bring him down. Okay. So the first thing that we'll do is let's add a button in our index.html. This will all be super simple. Let's make an H3, and we'll say we'll give it an ascending array. Just so we'll build this up first. And H3 data, we'll just say like 12, comma 26, comma 17, comma 40, comma 29, comma 36, comma 4, comma 9, comma 1. So we're going to sort this ascending. We're going to have a button with an ID, a btn ascending, and we'll just make it say calculate. And we'll put a div down here with an ID of ascending. And we'll do the same thing. Let's make this an H2. And if we save that, see that's there. We'll make another H2, say descending array, an H3 with some data. We'll give it like 1, 3, 5, 5, 8, 9, 10. That's good enough. And we'll make a button with an ID btn descending. We'll say calculate. And we'll make a div with an ID of descending. Perfect. So let's go to our JavaScript, and we'll say const btn ascending equals document get element by ID btn ascending dot add event listener click. So the first part of this is going to be a little boring until we get into like the quartiles and things like that. But we're going to set these up. This is going to be some helper functions. So bear with me through the boring parts. We will get to some good stuff. And then here we'll say document get element by ID ascending dot enter HTML equals. We'll put in some backticks. Div values, and we'll just say ASC data, and our div right there. And then we'll grab this data right here, copy that, and just say const data equals that. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to create a function. We'll say const ascending, takes in some data, and it does data.sort A, B, A minus B. If we save that, calculate, we'll see our values are sorted in ascending order. So let's do the same thing. This const btn descending document get element by ID btn dsc dot add event listener click. And we need our closing on there. I just messed that up. We'll say const data equals, we'll grab this data right here, pop it in there, and we'll say document.get element by ID descending dot enter HTML equals backticks div values, say descending data, and our div. Now one might be tempted to think const descending equals data, and if I have data.sort A, B, well, if I did A minus B, why can't I do A plus B? It's funny, that is not going to fly. They are still in ascending order. So what we're going to have to do is actually have a slight bit of a sorting function. So descending, we will say data.sort, and we'll say if A is less than B, return a 1. Let's just put it in curly braces just to return a 1. If A is greater than B, return a negative 1. Otherwise, return 0. That means they are the same. Now we have descending order. So if you were to take, like, say, 12 minus 26 up here, well, that went negative. So it's like doing this. And that's why you can't just say A plus B right here. Because if I would have did, A plus B, 1 plus 3 is 4. That's positive, and so that's why they don't sort correctly when you do it that way. Interesting little tidbit information for you there. Now what we're going to do is It'll get a little more interesting here. We got an H2. We'll say this is going to be the mean. And we'll say data. Oops. H3. And for this, we'll go like 40, 21, 55, 21, 48, 13, 72. We are going to reuse some of this data just so you know. And we'll have a button with an ID of BTN mean. Div ID equals mean. Come back to our JavaScript. And we'll say const BTN mean equals document.get element by ID BTN mean. Make sure you have your case sensitivities. Same dot add event listener click. Say document. We'll say const data equals. We'll grab this data. Put it in there. Say document dot get element by ID. This is mean. Dot enter. HTML equals a backtick. Div values. We'll say mean data. Div and mean. Before we do that, let's just write a const sum function, and that is going to take in some data, and it's going to return data.reduce A and C, A plus C, and start at 0. So that's our sum function. We're going to have a const max. It's going to take in some data, and this is assuming we're only working with the data that's an array of numbers, just so we know that. So we have data.reduce cumulative and current, and we're going to say if A is greater than C, then return A, otherwise return C, and that's going to start at 0. We'll say const min takes in some data, data.reduce A, C, A is less than C, return A, otherwise return C, and here we'll just start with like a 9999. So this will find our max and our min out of there. Now we'll say const mean. It's going to take in some data, and it's going to say return the sum of the data divided by data.length. So we run that, calculate this, we're going to get 38.5 blah 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 blah. So we bring up a calculator, and we say 40 plus 21 plus 55 plus 21 plus 48 plus 13 plus 72 equals, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we divide that by 7. 38.57142, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we've proven out that that works perfectly fine. Let's grab the median real quick. So we'll say const. Or actually, we go to my HTML first. And we'll have an H3. We're going to find the median. H3 data. And we'll go 13, 21, 21, 40, 48, 55 and 72. I don't even remember how I came up with these numbers, but ID is BT and median. Div ID median. And we'll go to our JavaScript and say const btn median equals document.get element by ID btn median dot add event listener, click, and we'll say const data equals, get our median data, pop that in here. We'll say document dot get element by ID median dot enter HTML equals backtick div values median data div. Go back over into our functions down here. We'll say const. It takes in some data. And we're going to return a body for this function. So we're going to first sort it. And we're going to give the ascending function, and we're going to make a copy of our data. So immutability here. And we'll say we're going to find the half, and that's going to be math.floor sorted.length divided by 2. So if we look at console.log sorted, to make sure it's sorted, that looks fairly well sorted. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be our median. If we had 8 numbers, we would take this one and the next one and add them and then divide by 2, get the half. So we will look at that. And so we're going to say, we can return if the sorted.length modulus 2, so if it's an even number, then we need the sorted half. Otherwise, we need sorted half minus 1 plus sorted half, and then divide those by 2. I wanted to make an edit to this video to give it a little bit better of an explanation of what this is, because this looks backwards. So if I have 7 numbers in my array, say median, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 numbers. I think in the video at this point we were at 7. So if I were just to go clear this out, 7 modulus 2 is a 1. So 1 is truthy. If I move mine to 8 and I do 8 modulus 2, that is a falsy. So in this scenario, right here, if sorted.length modulus 2, so if it's 7, then this, your brain tells you that these should be backwards, or at least my brain does. But if it's 7 modulus 2, that's one that's truthy. That means just give me half, because we only had 7 numbers. So if I were to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 4 is my median. And if I have 8, then that's 8 modulus 2, that's 0, that's the falsy. That's why we return this half, and that says take the sorted half minus 1 and the sorted half. So take the 4 and the 5 and then add those and divide those by 2. Just wanted to clarify that really quickly. So if we calculate that now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 40 is our median. That is absolutely correct. If we were to change our data and say, let's go with like 81, and we'll add that over here, 81. And we click our button. There's our sorted. So if we took 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're going to take 40, 48, 40 plus 48 divided by 2 should get 44, 44. Okay, now I know this video has gone on for a really, really long time. We're going to get into the quartile next, or the quantile next, and the IQR and the outliers in the next video. Sorry for the length, but this is going to set us up to build our box plot.